So, as we are starting with the B pencils, this is HB, you have to realize it's wrong to start with a lot of pressure. You need to use the least pressure at the beginning and then gradually add pressure. If you learn this technique and start applying it all the way through your subjects and models, the quality of your drawings will come out quite good, as you can see. So we will keep going. I'm gonna move to the number B pencil. As you can see, from the pencil is gradually giving darkness to our paper. My hand pressure is quite important as well. The way I combine the pencil pressure and the hand pressure together will make our drawing to stand out. So, as you can see, this is B. Let's move to now I'm gonna move to the 4B. And then, as you can see, I'm gonna move to the highest number. It can be 6B or 8B. It's very dark, as you can see, even without putting any pressure onto it. So again, I go back to the beginning, I keep going back and adding layers. So layering is quite important at any part of your drawing. Like this. So the way you add your layers is very important. So the do's and don'ts, how we do. Layering, as I mentioned to you, I'm going to use another version of pencil. I'm going to use another version of the pencil, which is Mars Lomograph Jumbos, that you can see. It's quite dark. So as you're using this, then again, I will go back up, reduce the pressure, then add the pressure, then go here. So what's quite important is like you keep adding pressure. If you do it like this is wrong. So this is right. This way of doing that you damage the tooth of the paper is wrong on any drawing. So you need to apply the minimum pressure for the first layer. That's what's important in drawing. So for any kind of pencil you use, apply the least pressure, then gradually add. Never use a lot of pressure. Let's have a look together. For instance, if I'm applying HB pencil and you suddenly do it this hard, this is wrong. This way of doing you should never do. Always apply the minimum pressure and keep applying. Keep layering. that's the right way to do. So for this one, 2B, don't damage the paper, it's wrong. So never damage the paper. Always keep applying the layers step by step. This will bring out hyper-realistic and good quality on your drawings. So as you can see, we have the pencil version, how we should use it, about the hand movement, hand pressure, and also not applying too much of your pencil at the beginning, and gradually add your charcoal, add your pencils from B collection. Now we are going to move to the next step. So the next step would be related to our charcoal and Conte shading. As you can see, I always introduce you, and I previously mentioned to you about the Conte pencil that I use, which is Conte à Paris. You can either sharpen it with your cutter, or you can easily do it with your sharpener. Let's start with this now. Conte pencil is very dark, and you have to be careful how to apply it. Again, with the same way, the same technique that I mentioned earlier with the pencil B collection, the same thing goes for Conte. When you start doing it, you need to apply the minimum pressure and then gradually reduce the pressure, as you can see here, and then go back and do this. This way is very important for your drawing. And then how to apply it and how to apply brush or Conte on it is the next step that is very important. So for instance, we do have lines. You have to make sure the lines to apply is sufficient enough, and also it's not too dark, or you don't give too much pigment or too less. So if it's like this, it's wrong. If it's like this, it's wrong as well. You have to make sure you do the right thing. You apply the right amount. Now I'm going to introduce you to 3 different versions of brushes that I use. All of them are Hawk brush, series A or B, short flat bristles, which can be in different sizes. It depends, you want to have a bigger version of the size, which can be this big, or it can be a minimum one, which is number, for instance, this one 7, and it all depends on the scale, on your surface, and how big or small it is. Now let me tell you how we do this. I'm going to combine these 2 levels now and use our brushes on it. So we're going to have this here, and I'm going to use all 3 of them, and you can find the links how to purchase them, or similar versions of them, how to get them in different countries. Any country, either on different online stores or local shops, you can find them. Now let's begin. We are going to start with this one. We're going to have this here, and then, as I mentioned, you have to do the right thing. Let's see how this one's going to look like. I'm going to choose one of them, which is number 8, size number 8. I'm going to go on it, left to right, right to left, without any pressure. Gradually, I'm going to shade the whole area and fade the line. And then blow it with my mouth. Don't touch it. Never touch it, because the powder on your hand can destroy and dirty your clean surface. And then you can go a little up. Make sure a little your hand becomes like more straight. With the tip of it, you're gonna shade more. And if you feel there's no enough pigment on it, you can do this one. Go on it one more time. Leave it here. And then one more time. Always start from the beginning and then gradually go down or go up. As you can see, it's done like this. So the next tip that we are going to cover is like how to apply this one, either as I mentioned to you, straight or non-straight darkness that you're gonna apply. So if you don't wanna just use your content pencil straightly on your paper, how you do it, there are a few different ways. The first way, it would be you have a separate paper or next to you, you're gonna use pigments on it like this, and then this like oil or any other medium that you use is going to be your pigments on the side. And how we do it, you're gonna pick up a brush. This is number 4 Pro Art Series A Hug brush, which is the very highest quality for short flat. I'm gonna go on this, use it on this, flip it over, then apply it on the paper before applying it on, because it's gonna have extra powder on it. Don't go here, no. So you need to actually try it here, and then you go here. So how I'm going to do it, I'm going to show it to you in a straight line. And then flip it over if you need more, if you want it to be darker. And that's it. Very easy, you created your shading. And then keep going down. So I need more. What I'm gonna do, of course I'm gonna go on it one more time, do it like this, and then I'm gonna go back here, gradually go down. Don't apply too much pressure, you can go up, and then in circular motion you apply it all over your surface like this. Quite easy. However, the next one was straight. Not doing it like this, you're gonna do it straight here. Gradually go down. So, and then with the same brush, I'm gonna go here, gonna go on this, blow up the powder on it with my mouth, and then gradually I'm gonna go down. Like this, and then you can keep going. Quite easy, isn't it, guys? Make sure you take all the rawness away, because if you keep it like this or this, we call it raw. We don't want it to look like that, so we need to take it away. As you can see in this example that I'm just showing it to you on the screen, And the way I'm applying it, that's non-straight charcoal, and also in the second part is from the straight charcoal. I applied it on my upper eyelid and then shaded away very easily. You can do this easy, it just needs practice and to know your hand pressure, your hand movement, and how much to apply the darkness. If you get the hang of these 3 things that I mentioned, you're good to go. Now, with the same thing that we had, I'm going to introduce you to another tool which is called Stump blending. You can get this Stump blending in different versions, either small or bigger ones, and always with a sand block. This is a sand block. They usually come together. You can buy them separately. It all depends on you. Now I'm going to show you how you can prepare your stump blending. As you see, we have dark pigments on it. So whenever you use stump blending, either on charcoal pencil or without or non-straight, which I'm going to cover in a minute, how you should get rid of the primary pigment. You go on this. I'll put this away for a second. You go on this. You start going on your sand block, and then gradually you need to circle it around in the same position. So how it's been done, I'm gonna go here. You can see I keep moving it. Look at my hand movements. Making it sharp and clean, like this. Now, I'm going to put this away. Before putting it, I'm going to apply it on this one as well. Very sharp. So, let's move on. Now with these ones, quickly, I'm going to apply more pigments on this one, for this one to be ready. And now, I'm going to show it to you how, with the same way, how you can shade the line, not with brush, but with the stump. So I'm going to go on it, left to right, gradually, slowly, keep moving my hand in the same speed, and same direction. I go. Then gradually I'm going to go down. Blow it away. Then I'm gonna, in circular motion, go on it. As I mentioned, it doesn't have the amount of darkness that we have here. I keep going left to right, gradually go down without lifting my hand. then I can go up, same pressure, then again go down. Don't rush it. Having your have patience and keep applying the same amount of pressure, it's very important. So most of my students, if they see slow improvements or they see very rapid improvements on their paintings, it's all about their patience and hand movement, hand pressure, and applying it in a right way. It's all about that. If you practice this, you're gonna come up with a very amazing, realistic drawings. So now I'm going to move from the Conte pencil to another one, which is powder, and also the next one would be charcoal sticks. So how we do it, I'm going to keep these ones here. There are our main tools. I'm going to bring charcoal powder. I'm going to bring charcoal powder, which I have already put it here. And then I'm going to show you how, if you don't have charcoal powder and you cannot get it, it's not necessary. Don't worry, you don't have to have it. You can either use this method or have one charcoal sticks, which is hard compressed. Don't get medium or soft. They are not going to be useful. They are not going to give you enough darkness. So you're going to make powder with this one. And how you make powder, I'm going to put this away. You're going to have this here. Keep it here with your cutter. There you go. That's your powder. So you can have either this powder, which is ready-made powder, or this powder that you made with your charcoal sticks. Hard, compressed. Don't get medium, don't get soft. And also you can see the ones that I use in the tools and materials videos. Go with those, as in my experience, these ones are the best ones. So usually when it comes to powders, I prefer to use brush. So how we do, we have it here. This is the charcoal sticks powder. I'm gonna put it in a separate paper so you can see how it looks like. So we have this one here. I'm gonna go on it, apply it, try it on a separate paper before bringing it, because when I use it and trying it, you will see more powder on it. We don't need these ones on our main subjects. So be careful, try it like this, or even touch it like this. Then again, go here. Same method. Then you can go up or you can go down. And then like this. Very easy, you can do that. Now you can combine this method with this method. What I mean, you can have this here, go on it, shade it away. Then you see, oh, I don't have enough pigments. Instead of doing the same thing, keep going on this one, you can go on this one. And this always you will understand the amount that you have to bring on your paper. how much pressure you should do is all about your practice. It's no magic, it's not hard, it's actually very easy. So it's all about knowing the techniques, which now you know the techniques. What's the next step? Applying them, practice them, and then keep practicing. And one more thing, don't be afraid to use them. Actually doing them. If you start applying them, no harm is going to come to your way, so start doing it. I usually advise my students, while they're watching the video, they actually practice as well. So one more tip that is very important is the layering on this one. The more I do this that I'm doing, applying dark ones, dark pigments on my paper, the better quality I get. So you can do it either left to right or actually circular motion, like this. Circular motion comes after left to right technique. Have a look. So this had a line, this didn't have line, is amount of pressure and also the amount of darkness you bring on your paper. I'm going to use straight, now I'm going to apply straight charcoal powder that I have bought online. The difference between the charcoal powder that I bought online and the charcoal sticks, this one a little softer. So not much difference. However, charcoal powder has softer effect than charcoal sticks. After left to right technique, what's the next one? While I'm doing these things to you, don't get overwhelmed. Choose which one you want to start learning and which one you want to apply. Get one of those, keep practicing it. If you like the way it is, keep doing it, keep applying it. If you like to do the second one, do the second one, practicing, keep applying it. Use the third one, do the same thing, keep applying it. And then if you like, and then you have got the hang of it, you want to use all three of them and combine them, then you can do it. You don't have to do all of them at the beginning, and I don't suggest you do it. So usually charcoal powders and this one, except this one, it goes with the brush. So if you want to go with brush techniques, you can use these two methods. You can use both brush technique and a Stump technique. You can go with this method. Or straight conte or charcoal pencil when you apply it on your paper method. This is a very soft paper. We can have textures paper next to us as well. And I'm going to tell you the reason why we do have a texture paper here. I can have a paper that has even more texture than this one. It depends on you. So while I'm mentioning texture, we are in the texture section. Let's begin. As you all know, we have different skins, different textures. Either you want to do human portrait features or facial features separately or together. However, even if you want to do landscape, flowers, any other subjects that you have in mind, this actually gonna help you. This section that I'm going to mention and I'm going to teach you, all of them you can combine and apply it on the subject matter that you like to start drawing. So let's start with our stump. How we do that? We start using these ones together. For instance, you have skin that is not smooth, because if you want to have a smooth skin, you go with these ones, and we already covered so many of them. Now I'm going to use the one that actually has dots or different textures on it. With the stump blending that I have, usually your stump blendings, if you are practicing, if you keep practicing, of course you're gonna have some dark pigments on it. If it's new, you don't have any pigments on it, like this one, what we do, we're gonna go on this, get some pigments on it, as you can see. This is non-straight one. I'm going to apply one that has a straight texture. So I'm going on our paper, give dots. Just imagine this is the upper eyelid, and as you can see on the screen, I'm going to show you one example where I'm applying this technique. So I never let it be like this. The most important tip for texture is to not keep it raw. So what I mean, either with the same stump or with brush, you can choose. You can go on it and get rid of the like this, and then so the way that you give textures either is circles or there are lines, depends on your model and subject matter. Skin. Now the next step that you need to be careful is amount of the darkness that you will bring in. Sometimes you want it to be very dark here, and you want it to be less dark next to it. So both you apply more dark pigments on it and also reduce the pressure on next to it, and then go on it and get the rawness away from it. Just imagine we have tree and it's not human portrait anymore. How we do it, I will apply more. I will go here. Or a sculpture. I use this method a lot on different sculptures. Do it here. For example, for this sculpture or anything, you can see this Buddha example that I have done, how I'm using the stump on it. It's the same method. Like this. Do you see? There are some textures on it straight away. So I'm putting more pressure, I'm reducing the pressure. More pressure, and for instance, maybe dark pigments on it. Like this. More dark. So, what if I do a mistake and apply too much pressure suddenly? I will cover that in the next one, in the next tip, how to use pencil eraser and elastomer eraser, and how to create highlights, but also how to get rid of your mistakes. So please look forward to the next tip section. Like this. Now I'm going to apply either in a separate one or on this one. For instance, for these versions, if you wanted to have bigger and also darker areas, you look at it and then apply. Or on your model, you will see how they look like, how you should do different textures. I'm showing you different textures on the screen, as you can see the examples, what I mean. So this is first non-straight, then a straight darkness, then complete straight darkness. Going to get rid of them and shade them. This goes for different textures, either under iris or any other subject matters that I mentioned to you. This one, either you can go on it like this, or actually step by step and one by one go on your. So this needs your patience, this needs to take some time, and then do it. different ways. So I would like to have this here, and then go on this. This is smooth texture, this is non-smooth. You can see we have much more textures on this one right now rather than this one. And then they're both more paper, smooth, non-smooth one, which is called vellum, like this. Now let's combine this one with brush. Just imagine you have a texture paper, or you have done something like this. I'm going to have more pigments on here, and then with the stump, I'm gonna go on this, give myself a lot of pigments, then gonna go on this area. Now I'm going to give some textures on it. Do the same thing, but this time I'm going to apply brush on it. How? Either with this method or with this method, doesn't matter. Let's for instance choose this method. I'm gonna go on it. You will have the textures that you have already in the second layer. Now they're almost hidden and not really showing. So with this one, you go on some of them. Create more textures, and then just a little go on it to get the rawness away. You can do the same thing here as well. Now we have two circles here. Just imagine this is our iris. So I'm going to apply different ones, different ways of textures, and also the techniques that we learn onto these ones. Let's just start with the pupil, which usually is dark. When you apply the maximum pressure, leave it like that, or you can either use a stump or brush and go on it and get the white pigments from it, which is called graininess of paper. Then I'm gonna a little apply more darkness with my stump around the iris. Always the iris has this method, because it's darker around it, then gets lighter, then gets darker here. So it's from dark, light to dark. Important part you should know that I have to apply one more time with charcoal or conte pencil here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go on it, keep doing this. Different way of drawing. So here I add more pressure, here I reduce pressure. It's all about how you do stuff. So here more pressure, less pressure, more pressure, less pressure in the middle, like this. The same way in different shape here. In this part, I'm going to teach you how to use and combine this, and also how to use your pencil eraser or elastomer eraser. The last two tools and materials we need to use how to create realistic drawings. Let's have them here. Take your time. Are we in rush? Well, hopefully when you start drawing and practicing, you're not in rush to finish one painting, one drawing. Just give yourself some time. I did this on purpose. I started from here and then went here instead of doing it like that, to have some textures, which is more dark pigments around here. Did you see? I haven't even changed my stump. I haven't even added more pigments on it. I'm just using the same thing. Is it hard? No. Does it need more practice? Yes. More pressure, less pressure. More pressure. And then I see, oh, this one, I don't like it. What should I do? I go on it in a circular motion and then create a different texture out of it. Like this. It reminds me of a flower as well. Don't apply too much. Gradually give darkness. Gonna go around. As I mentioned to you, it should be dark, lighter, darker for iris. And in circular motion and also line, go around the iris next to the main line. Use your hand the way I'm doing. And I'm not doing it all the way the same way. Sometimes I'm using it here and then move it to the next one to make it look more natural. And everyone, I have to mention, this is our first layer. Either you have a very bright eyes, you keep it like this. But if the eye is darker, or for instance a black eye or a brown eye, you need to apply more dark pigments onto it. Barely my conte is touching the paper, like this. And I'm not going into the whiteness of the paper that I left alone. I did it on purpose. I sometimes applied the stump here and sometimes didn't apply it. you should do the same thing. So, I'm gonna put it here. And then I don't keep it like this. I mentioned to you guys, we don't want to eat a raw food, we don't want our food to be raw. So it's the same thing. Go on it. Apply your stump on those areas with a minimum pressure. Going to continue my hand movements. Like this. More pressure. Like this. Then I'm gonna go around. And give a second layer. When you are doing your iris on a real eye, when your eye is complete, you have to go a little out of your line and give a three-dimensional feeling because the eye should stand out a little more. So you need shadow or more shading around the eye. And you can do that either with brush or stump with the same technique, which is not a straight applying the darkness, but actually non-straight, apply the dark pigments, or I have to say gray pigments here. One more tip that I'm going to mention it one more time when we are applying all these things on our eye. It's about the top part of the iris, usually are dark, the darkest one. I'm not gonna do it here, but because of the shadow of the eyelashes, this part, almost the 1/3 of the iris, should be darker. If you want to see it, I'm going to do it later, or maybe after we are done, I'm going just to apply it for you to have a look. Now, as I mentioned to you, we have two tools that we haven't used. First one is our elastomer eraser, which you do it like this. And then with cutter, gonna go on it and make it sharp and very clean. Or with this one, either I'm gonna brush it, I'm gonna, with sharpener, a normal sharpener, I'm gonna go on it. Or if you just want the tip of it to go away, with the sand block, just make it sharper. Like this. So let's have a look how different they are. Here, I'm going to apply more. Do you see the highlights is creating here? For instance, I want to have actual highlights here. I can do it with this. And then as you saw, like this. So I just created this one, but with this one I can create a more natural texture, like this. This goes on different surfaces with the same method, like this, or like this. Just one more time, you need to go on it with your Stump and get the rawness away from the one tip. When you have, usually iris, they have highlights. When you create this, you have to go on it with a Stump or brush, and next to it, like this, gradually add dark pigments to make it more, so it would look more natural. If your iris is done in a dark way, you have to go on this one with the contact pencil. So as we are almost done with this one, also more textures around it. We are going to move to the next one. So as we are done with this one, we are going to move to the next one, and I'm going to use more brush on this. I'm going to put this here. So when it comes to iris, make sure that you use smaller brush. This is size 0 that I'm going to use. With the same way that I did here, I'm going to go on it. These are the pigments from here. They're not magically appearing on the paper. They're coming from the circle, the black circle that I just drew. So in a circular motion, I'm gonna go around the iris, make it to look, we want it to look more natural. And then one more thing you can do, you don't have to start from the lines. You can actually shade the whole area and then apply the textures on it. So it depends on your creativity and how you're used to do practice, which I'm going to cover all of them later. Now I'm going to need more pigments to add darker areas, like this. As you can see, I'm not applying it everywhere. I keep some highlights of the paper. The whiteness of the paper is quite important, because how much you use your pencil eraser or elastomer eraser, it's not going to be as good as the whiteness of the paper. here. In circular motion, I keep going around. As you can see on the screen, an example of how I use brush. Again, the same technique, giving more darkness around. We need to apply it here as well. So I'm keep using different ones for you to see that any of them you want to choose for this art path, this drawing path, doesn't matter. You can start with any of them and keep drawing. So there is a reason I kept this one lighter and kept this one darker. So I wanted to see if the same thing happens. Gonna go on it. So one dark line, light, dark line, dark, light, dark, light. Don't go into each other. You can go actually mix them, but it's important if you want to make it to look like more 3D dimensional, to stand out. You need to be careful of these tips that I'm telling you. So the next step is like to go on it one more time, to get rid of the darkness and the rawness. With the same brush, one more time, I'm just gonna go around. And you can keep doing this. It doesn't have to stop with this layer. Keep layering, keep giving different textures. So we have our main highlights here. The same way I did here, I'm gonna go here. Give more darkness around it. Like this. Now, in the next one, I'm going to apply the pencil with brush and how to combine them together for the iris. So now with the third circle that we have, I'm going to go on it with the charcoal Conte pencil, Conte Appareil. Either with brush or a stump, I'm gonna get the rawness before I apply the pencil. Or I'm gonna use a stump so you can see both of them can be applied. And then with the one of these, I'm gonna go on this. With lines and minimum amount of pressure. Just sometimes I'm gonna, with the lines, I'm gonna bring more pressure. I'm gonna go around them. Like this. As you can see. I'm gonna put this aside so I can easily move my hands on here, because the hand movements and you make yourself comfortable on your paper, on your desk, or anywhere you're drawing is important. Make yourself at home. Now again, I'm gonna continue doing this, and I'm gonna take my time. Go around. A lot of pressure, a lot of darkness, less darkness, more darkness. The same method. Just gonna have this highlight here as well. So you should know that you can actually have the highlights and not creating it. You can use the whiteness of the paper, which is the easiest one that I mentioned to you in the previous tip with this circle. Make sure your pencil is sharp as well. I'm gonna go around it, making sure again not to go inside the highlights. Do you remember I used circular motion here and here? I'm doing the same thing here. If you compare this highlight with this two, I created these highlights when I was doing it, when I already applied dark pigments on the paper. This one I haven't applied. That's why it's the lightest one. So either you can use brush or stump on this and make it happen. How I'm going to do this, I'm going to go on it. Make sure I'm actually applying it on the non-highlights one. Gonna go around. Do you remember I mentioned to you, you have to go a little out. I'm not going it because I'm not applying it here. So, however, if you want your iris to become more natural, as I mentioned here, you need to go out a little and give some shadows. Being moderate, make sure I take my time. Like this, I go around. Give more darkness around this one. Now we want to apply more highlights on it. What we're gonna do with a cutter, gonna make it clean. Then I'm gonna go here gonna go around. Give a little dark pigments around it. Because these two cannot be really combined well, that's why sometimes it's not gonna get mixed well. You have to be careful how to bring them and have this darkness underneath at the beginning. For the last time, go on the pencils that you applied, shade them away. So how was it, guys? We applied this tip, the pencil ones, on this one, and then combine it with one of these, and then gave different textures, different ways of giving darkness onto it. And then we created some textures that we mentioned earlier on different ones. If you enjoyed this, please let's go to the next episode, the next lesson, and apply all of this into an eye drawing. So I'll teach you first how to draw an eye with a very simple structure, and with that simple structure of eye drawing, how to apply all of this in one eye example. So if you enjoyed this episode and enjoy all these videos and all these tips, I'll see you in the next one, which is about eye drawing and how to apply them. Not just eye drawing, you can apply this onto nose drawing or lips drawing or any kind of facial features, the face. When it comes to the nostrils of the nose, you can apply them. When it comes to eyelashes, you can actually apply these and with the texture of these and create them, as you can see on the screen how I'm doing the eyelashes on this example. So it all depends how you combine them, how you practice them, and also watch the videos with the right guidance and be patient. And most importantly, practice. I hope you enjoyed it. I see you in the next episode, and bye bye.